There was a big comment that was made by Coach Rivera about the quarterback when someone asked why the other teams in the NFC East are playing so much better. And Coach Rivera said quarterback. But today he made another comment, and let's hear what he had to say.
At the end of the day, I spoke to my team this morning. You know, I basically told them that I said some things that were misconstrued. I didn't present it properly, and that's on me. So I took accountability, told the guys that, I should know better, and I had a bad day. So I figured, I'm feeling better today. Let's move forward. So to me, as far as I'm concerned, it's really now about the most important thing. That's getting ready for football.
All right, guys. That comment, he backtracks a little bit, but what do you all think about that? And how bad was that as a distraction this week? Starting out with Lou Holder.
Well, I thought it was very interesting and telling for me that when Jamin Davis was just berated the first week of the season by the coaches, it was like, yo, we're challenging him. We want him to do better. We did this, we did that. Right. But now with Carson Wentz, it's I had a bad day and things were misconstrued. I was like, treat all the players the same. Right. This guy is a veteran. The defensive coordinator and then the head coach, they didn't back down from comments that Jamin Davis needs to play better. That's what they said the very first week. Right now, we have a bunch of games underneath our belt, and Carson Wentz can be playing better. Right? The offensive line is just as much to blame or right there with stuff that needs to happen. The offensive coordinator, right? But I don't know if I really, really think that Ron Rivera needed to backtrack like that. He said what he said. There was some truth to it, but just like you did with the other player, all the apologizing and going to the team meeting and apologizing, I don't know if that was necessary. I mean, this is a coach that said what he said, and I think there's some truth to what he was saying. That's why he said it.
Who wants to follow that up?
I'll follow it up because it's so juicy. Lou gave us so much juice with all that. I mean, and you know what, to be honest with you, I think when it comes down to it, the one thing that stood out to me is that he wasn't lying about when it comes to the quarterback position. You as good as your quarterback with any team. And I think the one thing that kind of misconstrued to us is everyone took it as if he was throwing Carson under the bus. I don't think he was necessarily throwing him under the bus, but I do believe that he shouldn't have even brought the quarterback up. I think it's too many things going on our team to just point out one. Yes, our quarterback could play a little better. We all know that it's not just on him. Yes, when you look at his numbers, you might get fooled and say, hey, well, maybe he's having a better season than what it is. It's a lot of things that he's leaving out there, but it's a lot of things that's being left because the guys up front just ain't doing good enough job to protect them. But it's so many other places that we need help in that you can't leave with that answer. And so I think that's why he had to come back and retrace and basically, he did what he's supposed to do like a man. Hey, own it. You said it, you got to own it. And he did that. But I think it shouldn't have been said. He knows that. You don't have to be a first year, second year, 12th year coach to know that. Everybody knows that, especially when it comes down to how you've been keeping things tight knit around there from day one. When it comes to scrutiny or anything. The only guy who's been scrutinized, I think, is the guy you just mentioned, Jamin Davis. And I think that too could have went differently, but he's a young guy, and sometimes you have to light that fuse, and they did that because he's been playing much better since then. But
will this light the fuse for him, Santana? Will this light the fuse for Carson Wentz?
I don't believe this. No, I don't believe Carson is in that situation where he needs to have a fuse lit. Carson can only do what Carson could do. I truly believe that we probably haven't seen the best of Carson this year, but we have seen some good times and we've seen some good moments. You got to think about it, man. This dude has been beat up, drugged, you name it, in Philly. Stuff that's said about him right now, he should be none. So he don't need no one to, bring him up, lower than what he's already is. I think Carson want to go out there and play the best he can play to his ability or what's given so he can do a good enough job to help us win. Can it be better? Yeah. Anybody would tell you that. But I don't think that one soundbite from coach is going to change anything that he's been doing.
Well, Donna, Dallas is winning with a backup quarterback.
Yeah, but you know what? I gotta hop in here for a minute because they were pouring on, and I'm going to talk about Dallas, and everybody thought that was a sinking ship when Dak went down, but Cooper Rush has stepped in. But I think that Santana and Lou hit it on the head. But what was disturbing more to me is this team had lost 4 straight games. It's amazing that a head coach of his caliber, and like he said, he wasn't thinking, he was mad, but this is a veteran coach. He should have been under control a little bit more, but this team is fragile right now. And for him to come out with that statement doesn't help this team moving forward. And like Santana says, it's good that he stepped forward, but what is the damage effects that still linger? We don't know about what that is. But, a team that has lost 4 straight games, that's the last thing that you need. It's a distraction with a short week that you've got to go up and play Chicago. And Chicago is not going to be an easy team to walk away with a win right there. And like you said, you got a Dallas team with what he said doesn't make any sense because a Cooper Rush comes in there and he's got that team winning right now. So what does that say about his statement? It really doesn't add up to anything. But I'm just kind of like disturbed with, as much as this team is suffering right now, this is the last thing. And it just tells you a little bit about the organizational steel, is that it keeps hemorrhaging, because of these statements and stuff like that from leadership.
1st and goal at the 2-yard line. You're supposed to win that game, right?
No question. No question.
I mean, is that the quarterback, or is it the offensive line, or is it the offensive plays that were called?
That was an offensive play.
Because we saw it done by Patrick Mahomes.
That was an offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
that call right there.
I'm telling you, if Santana Moss and FR are all in the game, right, you got to find a way to be exotic and use them. Now, Scott Turner did go up top a couple times and everything like that, but when it counted, right, you have all of these weapons, even another one that had emerged in De'Ami Brown. You have all of these weapons. Run something around so this team is confused. All you need is 2 yards, right? To do the standard throwing the pass or whatever like that, that's too easy. They made it easy for them.
You have to be a little more creative than that. And I don't think you have to even be that creative. Just run what you have. And I don't think so you got to look at some of the things that's been going on of lately, and I watch it because you have to watch every game since the Detroit game. When these teams found out that they can rush with their four downmen, they just drop everybody else into coverage. So when you have so many guys sitting in lanes and sitting out there in your throwing lanes, it's harder for Carson to even see. And that's why one of the things that that stands out to me, that lets me know that it's not all on Carson, because if you don't have nowhere to throw the ball, then that's why you get a guy that's sitting there patting the ball and trying to find somewhere to go with it. But down there on the goal line, you run a draw, run it one time, at least once. Do something different, or throw the ball in the end zone in the area that these guys can go up for the ball. Hold
on, Tanner.
Yeah.
He did throw it in the end zone, and it was almost intercepted.
That was a throw. That was a throwaway though. Throw
that thing into the press box. Throw that thing to Laurel. Throw that thing to Laurel, Maryland. Why are you throwing it?
But Santana is preaching, because the thing about it is everybody, like he said, wants to point the finger at Carson, although it has to be pointed some at him. But if you don't get savvy with your play calling and your scheme, knowing that you got to beat up offensive line, so you've got to be more creative. Now, they said last year, if they got the quarterback, they were going to be good. They could move this team forward. I can't see nothing different offensively, really, that they're doing as far as their scheme. It is dry, it's boring. And every team says to me, talking to the other people in the media from other teams, they said players say from other teams, we know exactly what Washington is going to do every play, and we're able to shut it down.
Yeah, all right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk more about this Washington team and some big games coming up. Short week with Chicago and then Green Bay after that.